been a great conference so far. It's good to see the large number of people coming back in for this. So I'd say there are a couple of key takeaways. One is there's a real sense of urgency now. So you had Sultan Ahmed Al-Jaber, who's head of ADNOC and also head of COP28 as a president-designate. And he's talked about, used the phrase, Houston, we have a problem, right? So it's a big issue. We have a lot of things to tackle. There's a long way to go, and it's going to take an enormous amount of cooperation. He really laid that down, which I think, sets the road for COP28 as well. Another topic that was huge was the growing focus on minerals. I mean, we need to double down on copper production by 2035 to get to these net zero goals by 2050. So it's a huge effort. So Tenguku Mohammed Tawfiq, the CEO of Petronas, he talked about how we had to shift from a carbon-intensive ecosystem to a mineral-intensive one. And of course, mining capacity is going to be an issue there. Supply chains are going to be difficult to get from certain parts of the world. So that was another topic that we heard. Another area that was certainly high on the agenda was policy. A lot of people were very positive on the IRA. It's a framework that they find predictable, clear, tech neutral, a lot easier to really absorb than what you see coming out of Europe. And then you also see other work going on to address policy as well. So John Podesta, who's a senior advisor to Clean Energy and Innovations, noted that permitting is still a huge problem, and that's where he's focusing a lot of the money and efforts as well, up to $1 billion to remove barriers there. And then the final thing that I would say is there's a huge amount of optimism on technology. Mike Wirth opened the whole event today, CEO of Chevron. He talked about the huge tech challenge, but we're well suited as an industry to take care of that. He noted the things that we've done in areas like deep water and other intensive technology areas. As he put it, it's an industry full of brilliant engineers and scientists, and that's where the solutions are going to come from on the innovation side. And then it was very interesting to get John Kerry's perspective. Of course, he's a special envoy for climate. He was talking about technology, and he said, we've got the technology today to get there. We just need to scale it a lot quicker. And he brought up a great point talking about Paul Kennedy's book on the engineers of victory. Talked about in that book in World War II, there was a massive mobilization to address the challenges that they had back then. And the salient example he talked about was back then they turned car factories into plane factories. And by the middle of 1944, they were ramping production up to B-24 every hour. So if we could get that focus and energy here, then it's amazing what we could do to take care of the energy transition.